Hello nail peeps and welcome back to Decorate Every Nail You Got. So today's video is a requested video. So Lacey, here's your video on how to make nail art using toothpicks. So the first thing that I want to comment on is that the toothpicks I'm using, some have very pointy ends and then some of the other ones have like a stubbier kind of circle end. So I'll probably be using both of those. You could probably mimic that if you were to just take one of the toothpicks and kind of press down on a hard surface to get a larger surface area on the point of your toothpick. So the very first one that we're going to do is just making some dots. And we're going to be creating some concentric circles. I'll begin by putting a little bit of nail polish just on my silicone mat, and I like to start with a larger dot in the center, and then I'll do rings of smaller dots that are going around the outside edge, so the dots will get smaller as I go further out from the design. You'll also notice that I'm kind of going half on, half off the nail. That way you don't have to worry about centering anything perfectly. Also, a tip, kind of the faster you go, the more swiftly you go, the smaller your dots are and the more steady you'll actually become. It is rough trying to get a steady hand using this, y'all. I'm not even kidding. For design number 2, I'm going to be using that fat end of my toothpick. And once again, I'm going to create a larger circle, and I'll probably create a couple of them. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to be doing some layered dots. I'm using that fat end to make the circles on the bottom of my layers quite thick and round. And I'm also going to be putting a layer on the inside of those. So notice that I leave that ring on the outside. I'm also going to have layers of 2 or layers of 3. It really doesn't matter how many layers you have. And finally, I'm going to finish it off by putting dots just kind of everywhere on it. This design is one of my favorites. It's a gradient, but using dots. So I'm going to start out with black, and then I'm going to have it fade kind of into gray and into lighter colors. In hindsight, I didn't choose exactly the perfect colors, but in any event, so my idea was to go kind of from a black to a very light gray, and I had some metallics in there. I wish I had switched some of the things around, but oh well, you get the point. You can do a gradient or you can do an ombre, and you can also choose to make the dots the same size, or you can get smaller as you move along. Either way you do it, I love this design. It's so simple, so easy, and it has such a big impact. The fourth design has a little bit more of an artistic flair to it. So we're going to create some flowers. For the first flower, I'm just going to make a series of 5 dots in a circle, and that's pretty much all you need to create a flower. I usually do some kind of color on the inside as well, typically a yellow or a brown. So that's pretty much all you need for a flower. I also want to comment here that you can get more paint on the nail the longer you leave it on there. So be considering how long you're holding that toothpick on the nail. Now for the next type of flower, this is more of a teardrop shape to the petals. So you're going to create a circle using your pointed end, and then you're going to drag that circle to the center of your flower. You'll notice they all kind of congeal all together, and that's okay because you're going to go back with that center color and you're just going to put a dab in the center of that flower. So 2 different very easy flowers for you to create. I also wanted you to show you that it's actually quite easy to draw on the nail with a toothpick. If you have any artistic ability, you maybe can create a heart or whatever kind of other design that you choose. The 5th design requires a little bit more art as well. So I'm going to create a cute little bear or bear, I don't know, some kind of animal on this guy right here. I usually cheat with these guys because I only have them peeking up out of the nail, and that way I never really have to create a mouth for them, which is kind of fun. So I create some kind of rounded face shape. I give them some ears. I also put another color on the inside of the ears, and usually I give them some kind of snout. So you'll see me do that with this lighter brown shade here. And then I give them some cute little eyes in white, and their pupils, of course, I'm going to make them black. I do create this kind of oval shape. I do also have to wait in between when I switch colors. So make sure that you're waiting and don't overdo it. And then once I've created my snout, I give him a little nose, and then he's just adorable. Here's the real issue with doing any kind of nail art, and that comes from when you put your top coat on, sometimes the colors will smear or streak all the way across. So I don't typically work with regular polish on top of this stuff, so I normally top with gel polish. So if you're using a gel polish top coat and then you cure, you don't have to worry about this streaking. So I'm going to try two different ones right now. This is the Sally Hansen Extreme Wear top coat. And then this one is a Maniology one, but it's a smudge-free top coat. And this top coat is actually designed for nail art so that it doesn't smudge it. So I'm going to try and start out with the Sally Hansen, and we'll see, come on, focus. We'll see if it smudges this very first one. Oh no. Some of them aren't quite dry, so I know these three are dry, so we'll go ahead and top that coat them. Okay, I have our top coat. You want to float it on top. You don't want it to be too much top coat. Okay, that one, oh, yeah, that last one that I drug through. Okay, let's see if you can see this. So you have to be very, very careful when putting on your top coat, or you're going to get this, you see that streaking right there? You're going to get that kind of streaking, and sometimes it can be much worse. I even have a little bit at the top because I pulled it through and then I pulled it again. So just be very, very careful when you're trying to put your top coat on. You do not want to go over it multiple times, okay? The next one, I'm going to use the smudge-free top coat, and we'll work on this second one. Hopefully it doesn't smudge. Nice. Okay, there's top coat. You always want to put a top coat on top of your designs because if you don't, sometimes, you know, half the design might rub off and then the other half doesn't, and it looks a little wonky and crazy. Looking back and thinking back on this one, I'm going to use the Sally Hansen on this one and see what happens. Looking back on this one, I wish that I had made these colors lighter. Like, I don't know, maybe a frosted white or something. Anyway, I'm going to try to float it on top. So I'm going to get a generous amount on my brush. And I want to do as little strokes as possible. Let's see if I can do it in 3. There we go, I did it. And it really did not pull anything through. But when you're putting on your top coat, you want to float your top coat, and that means add a generous layer. And really, you want to try to use as few strokes as possible. So there we have it. 5 different designs, all using toothpicks and different colored nail polish. So yeah, I hope you found that informative, and I hope it was fun, and I hope you do some on your own. And in case you wanted to get some Maniology products, you can get that smudge-free top coat. I highly recommend this one. It will take away the smudging problem of those kind of issues. However, you can get 10% off of your Maniology order if you use the code GrooveMama at maniology.com. You want to follow me on Instagram? That would be awesome. And like this video, subscribe. Let's do this thing. Until we meet again, I hope you decorate every nail you got. Bye!